Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we have a story that is making serious waves across South African politics, a tale of power, strategy, and rivalry at the very heart of the African National Congress. We are talking about the now famous meeting between current President Cyril Ramaphosa and former President Thabo Mbeki, a meeting that was meant to be about dialogue, unity, and charting the future of the country, but instead has revealed a fascinating struggle for influence, legacy, and hidden agendas. At first glance, this forum seemed like a noble initiative. Two of South Africa's most prominent leaders sitting down to discuss national issues, trying to bridge divides, and perhaps even inspiring the ANC to refocus on the pressing challenges facing the country. But what actually unfolded is more reminiscent of a chess game than a conversation about unemployment, economic stagnation, or governance challenges. Political analysts and insiders are now saying that the meeting has exposed internal divisions and competing ambitions in a way that few anticipated. According to Dr. Nomsamthembu, a well-known political analyst, what began as a platform for meaningful discourse has morphed into a stage for egotism and power maneuvering. Groups within the ANC, she explains, are no longer simply seeking to discuss national policy, they are actively using these forums to advance their own narratives, project influence, and subtly undermine their rivals. In other words, what should have been a constructive dialogue has become a spotlight on factionalism. The friction between Ramaphosa and Mbeki appears to stem from deeper issues than just a difference of opinion. Reports suggest that Mbeki has grown increasingly frustrated with the current administration's handling of the economy, rising unemployment, and the slow pace of tackling corruption. Ramaphosa, on the other hand, maintains that progress is being made despite challenges, and that the government is committed to delivering results. But some sources hint that Mbeki is positioning himself as a potential alternative within the party, subtly signaling to the broader ANC that he still has ideas, influence, and perhaps a vision that rivals Ramaphosa's leadership. The dynamics inside the meeting were reportedly tense. Different factions used the discussion to amplify their own voices, to remind everyone who still wields power, and to make sure their concerns, ambitions, or grievances were on record. Some saw Mbeki's presence as a strategic comeback, a subtle reassertion of influence in a party where he once held undisputed authority. Meanwhile, others quietly suggested that Ramaphosa may have lost some momentum in adequately addressing corruption and governance issues, concerns that have long simmered within the party and among ordinary South Africans alike. This is where things get particularly interesting. A veteran ANC member warned that the ultimate victims of such political infighting are not the leaders themselves but the people of South Africa. Every moment spent negotiating personal ambitions, every forum used as a stage for political posturing rather than problem-solving, translates into delayed action on jobs, economic reform, and social cohesion. In effect, the very issues that the ANC is supposed to tackle end up taking a backseat to the internal drama. Public reaction has been a mix of disappointment and concern. Many South Africans hoped that seeing Ramaphosa and Mbeki together might signal a shift toward unity and a serious attempt to address the country's challenges. Instead, observers have noted the familiar pattern: personal legacies, factional loyalty, and power calculations seem to have overshadowed the broader good. One concerned citizen aptly remarked that South Africa needs leaders who prioritize the people, not just their own ambitions. Adding a bit of dramatic irony, some have joked that this meeting could almost be likened to a reality TV reunion, two big personalities, former allies, and current rivals, trying to maintain civility while subtle jabs fly across the room. The tension is palpable, the stakes are high, and the outcome remains uncertain. The dialogue, rather than being a solution-oriented conversation, has become another chapter in South Africa's long history of political intrigue. For analysts, the implications are significant. This is not merely a squabble between two leaders, it reflects broader structural tensions within the ANC. As factions jockey for position and influence, the possibility of meaningful reform or a united strategy diminishes. Whether it is tackling corruption, addressing unemployment, or reigniting economic growth, the party risks being sidetracked by internal politicking at a time when decisive leadership is most needed. Meanwhile, ordinary citizens are left watching, waiting, and hoping that their leaders will put aside personal ambitions. The question on everyone's mind is, can Ramaphosa and Mbeki find common ground for the sake of the nation, or will this meeting merely deepen divides? As political observers note, the outcome of these high-level discussions may well shape the ANC's trajectory, influence upcoming elections, and determine the country's ability to confront pressing social and economic issues. In conclusion, this meeting between Mbeki and Ramaphosa is more than just a political handshake. It is a window into the complex, often opaque world of ANC politics, a world where legacy, influence, and ambition intersect, sometimes at the expense of the nation's immediate needs. What started as a hopeful dialogue now reads like a study in power, rivalry, and strategic positioning. So, what do you think? Will South Africa see genuine unity and cooperation between these leaders, or is this another example of political infighting delaying progress for ordinary citizens? We want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more in-depth coverage of South African politics, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our updates. Thanks for watching, and remember, the story of power in South Africa is never simple, never predictable, and always fascinating. See you next time.